What's up, everybody?
Welcome back to the pod.
Cast. I am Ethan with Fight Me on this.
I'm Jill at CoachJill.April.
It is great to be back. It is great to be talking to you guys again. How have your weeks been? How has your month been? Holy shit, it's February, Black History Month. Hello.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a minute since we recorded, but we're here. We're alive.
Yeah, it's been. We did a lot of work over the holidays to give ourselves some breathing room, and holy shit, did we ever. We missed it. Coming off a great weekend, coming off a wild weekend. So much good to talk. What did you have in there? Or is just water good? Were you trying something?
No. And in Jill's water bottle, a new segment. I don't know if anybody else does this, but my one side of my whole family will water down cranberry juice or just regular juice with water. It might just be a my family thing, but me and all my cousins, when we go to my grandparents' house, my grandma's like, what do you want to drink? And even though we're all adults, I don't drink, but every single one of us is a glass of water, splash of cranberry juice. My grandparents used to do it all the time. So now I do it as an adult, and it basically flavors your water because water's boring. But then also I don't have to use an artificial flavor. So this is a peach lemonade from President's Choice. All of the lemonades from President's Choice.
Wow.
Fire. If you've never tried them. The mango one, great. Pomegranate, great. Peaches currently. You want a sip?
Nope. I know I won't like it.
Oh, didn't mean to shoot water
Just
at you.
gives it to me anyways. You're funny. Hards and joys.
You going first? You want me to go first?
It's up to you. I'm easy. Hards are the same right now. For me, I'm good.
My hard is that we have to move. And that's not actually the hard part. Once I get past the initial, we have to move, I'm actually very excited for it. I'm excited to find a space that is ours. Find a space that me and Ethan get to choose together with Brian. But if you didn't know, small backstory, I moved from my apartment into this house and Ethan was already living here for a minute. So as much as it's our house, it's Ethan's house that I moved into. So I'm excited to find a space, but it's just moving is stressful no matter which way you swing it. And as much as I'm trying to be it's fine, you need a place to live. And I'm not going to go on a huge spiel, but the rental market is fucked up.
People are fucked up, and it makes the rental market worse.
The amount of people looking for thousands of dollars for only part of their house, a main floor and an upstairs, and they still want $3,000 a month. Plus,
and they still charge $2,000 to the people downstairs. So absolutely, fuck you guys, you greedy fucks. You make it impossible.
And I posted about it on Threads, and everybody was replying, being or somebody replied and was Edmonton's one of the most affordable cities to live in, which is true, which makes it extra fucked everywhere else, because there's been a few, we still have options. There's things in our price range. And I have to keep with the fact that not everybody is just trying to become a billionaire off of giving people a place to live. So I do believe there's decent people out there renting their houses that actually give a shit about the people living in their house. But it's just a lot. I don't know why. It's probably the tism in me that just doesn't love change and doesn't love my home changing. So I can feel the panic of actually picturing packing up our home and moving it, and that feels like a task that's huge and overwhelming and never ending. And
very, very scary.
Yeah, and just the whole process of moving is expensive. It's a lot of work. Luckily, I have Ethan on the other end that can be we're fine. Everything's going to be fine. Him and I approach situations like this very differently, which, as much as it's hard for us to understand each other in the situation, it's nice on my end to have the other side of it's not a big deal, where I'm sitting here being the world's ending. So yeah, that's my heart, but it's going to be fine once we settle.
Yes, it will.
Oh, it fogged my glasses. My glasses.
I can't see anything without my glasses. Yeah, it is. I share in some of that frustration and hard. I obviously hate change that way. Huge about growth, hate change. Um, so like I share in some of that hard. The frustration mounts itself when my difference is that it's just another day. You're right. This happened. It sucks. We gotta go. So that means we gotta go. There's no other way about it. But coming from being more transient that way, it makes it a little bit easier on me. The way that I process the world and being nomadic in my soul, it's just another day of shifting. So it's supporting Jill the way that I can and just reminding her that it's going to be fine. I have my own things with it, my own frustrations and stresses, but it's got to happen.
I also think it's part like this will be the second time I move in less than a year. So like it takes me a minute to settle and I look around our house and I'm like, but I like our house. So like that's a piece of like there's art on our walls and there's shelves and like we finally like gotten it to a place where it feels like us. And then I'm like, great. Like you can hang art on different walls. I understand that.
That's what I mean. Like it's that thought. It's like I've already made the decision. Like how cool to get to do this in a new place. Like I'm the person that changes my room every month if I can. I need something to shift. And so like for me, this is just a big opportunity to start new. Like the first thing I said to Jill is how cool that this next thing is ours. Like it really is ours. Even with Brian, like this is my house. And this is my home and people live with me. As much as I told them that you live here, this is your space, like it's been my place for 3 years now. Now it's really another level and evolution for me in as living this life openly and outwardly, as being community driven, knowing that I want people around me in some way, shape, or form to do this life with. So now we get to step into the first version of that with Brian as a piece of it. So for me, it's exciting. It's scary, but like I've had to move in 12 hours before with security around me and my people getting shit done and getting it out. Like there's far tougher ways to move for me. So I'm just here letting Jill stress because she's not going to not do it. But like, keep it over there. And I will remind you every time that this will be fucking easy. I'm a big boy and I have lots of big boy friends.
The only perk, well, there's a few perks of the way I stress because I'm like, cool, I'm just going to fix it right now then. Like, so in the last like week, I've probably messaged about 100 houses by now. Like, I'm just like, cool, I'm going to solve this problem so that my brain can be like, problem solved, check.
Well, like that's also a part of why I don't have to care. Is because like I say it, it's going to be fine. We'll have a tiff. Like it's not like a why are you going this negative with it? Why can't you see that it's stressful? Like it's an hour of this is fucking uncomfortable for both of us, so we're gonna throw a temper tantrum about it. But then I also know that in the back of Jill's mind, it's you got to get it done. My own hard. Oh, I have a couple off the top of my head right now, but one in particular is navigating the second date that I don't really care for is next week on Tuesday. But it's affecting me now. And it's affecting me because I've been having a couple of miscommunications with partners. And in those miscommunications, a sneaky resemblance to the way that my life went with my mother has drawn some tough triggers and wounds for me to navigate and heal and work through with these people, but also on my own with myself. So my heart right now is this theme. And if you have trauma, you know what I mean when I say theme. This resounding underlying constant that seems to rear its head as if it's going to go away as you heal. It won't. It just keeps coming back and testing you in new ways. And right now I'm in the middle of a new one. The date with my mom, her birthday, like the birthday with my full-on abuser on the 11th of January, they're like, these two dates are tough, but this one's newer. My story with my mom is vast and wide, and I put that motherfucker through hell, intentionally. A lot of it, like I've done the healing, I've done the work. Like, of course, it was intentionally. I couldn't figure out why. I've done that work now, but to navigate a time when like the only other person that I had to rely on in my childhood when I needed them the most was ill-equipped, was so far less than in her own being that I paid the fucking price for it. Moms know. I will look in the camera and with all of the love and like a piece of the hate for some of the rest of you. Moms always know. I know that mine did. And still, I had to cure the needs of her husband. And I know where else to go. So the gravity of the decision to let it happen from my mom's perspective, because when you know and do nothing, you are a part of the problem, uh, is tough to come to grips with. And in this place of really trying to come to grips with it, like hating and not having a relationship with dads has been my whole life. Like I don't really get it. I did never really a big fan of men. Uh, like openly have had to admit that in many cases. And uncomfortability with mom figures has been a weird thing the last little bit of my life. So Mother's Day has always been tough, but now this birthday's here, and there's nothing in my being that understands celebrating this person. Yeah, you can't be a great mom if that happened. I don't give a fuck. You tried your best, you failed, fuck. Like, I'm sick because two people did shit to me for so long, or didn't do anything to stop the things that were happening to me for so long, that 20 years out of my fucking abuse, I'm still winding up in the hospital for unexplained illnesses, traumas in my body, physical and emotional. So that's tough. When the lines between relationships and connections I have now get uh, blurred and muddied by this thing, this experience of not seeing, not being seen. Yeah, it's a wild thing to navigate, and trying not to put the bullseye on people that don't deserve it. It's a lot at one time. CBDST is wild, but I'm good. It's just fucking wild.
Yeah, and I think what you said about like not stopping it isn't better, that applies to, just so we're all clear in this conversation, everything. Not just
Abuse.
Not just child abuse, not just abuse, not just the big things. It applies to everything.
Yeah. If someone's being harmed in any way and you know and do nothing, you're complicit. It's like not a hard line to draw. It really isn't. If you could stop it, you should. And everybody as a human being should think that way, but we don't. You don't. I do. Sorry, let me fucking rephrase. Not like us, because I am sick of always being the only one. I keep winding up in the fucking news because of it. I keep winding up on social media being hated by a city because for some reason I'm the only person that will do the thing, stand up, because I've got 2 feet and a heartbeat.
It's as simple as like, I was at Costco the other day and this white lady decided she was more important. That's not shocking. Most white people think they're most important. I can say that because
I can say it anyway.
I have the white card to say that. But like, decided to go at this girl that was probably closer to my age, being like, I was in line first. She wasn't. She was in the wrong line. It doesn't matter if you were in the wrong line first. That lady's in the right. I was also in the wrong line. So again, I can talk my shit because I'm behind you, who's also in the wrong line. And she was like freaking out at this girl to go first, and I was here first. And I was like, listen, like, it's that simple of being like, hey, don't be an asshole to people in public. It doesn't have to be end up on the news. It doesn't have to be the big things. It's just as simple as being like, hey, shut the fuck up.
Make it your problem.
Like, and most of the time when you call people out, they shut the fuck up because they're like, oh my God, I didn't think anyone was going to do that.
Like, if your argument is, I fear for my safety and standing up, fuck you. You're useless to society if that's your worry. Because they are in actual danger right now. The cool thing about being in danger with somebody is there's less danger for both of you. Math, 1 over here, 1. That it could be a bigger finger, so that wins. But then there's 2 of you. No matter how big the finger is, you see how stupid that? Okay, cool. So when one stands up, usually others do. And
Nobody
that, like,
wants to be the first to do it, but then they're
I do.
like, oh.
Like it's annoying, but the moment you do it, and like most of these people that have shit to say have nothing to say when someone else does.
Use your white for good.
Yeah, like using your whiteness. You want to know how in Black History Month? Open your fucking mouth.
It's my favorite card to pull because, like,
It's the only people I keep around me.
If you're not going to use your white for good, what's the purpose? What's going to happen to you? You're white.
Yeah, like literally what? Anyway,
that's simple.
That's simple.
My joy.
Joy, yeah, joy.
Oh, my joy is work related. I set some goals for the year, and they felt big and scary and really far away. And then January rolled around, and like January was chaos. I should go back and count how many consultation calls I did in January. It was a lot of work, but like in a good way. But seeing the numbers come out of January makes me feel like my goals aren't actually that far away.
She already reached one.
Yeah, which is cool to like check one off in the first month of the year, and then it's cool to like settle a little bit and be like, oh my god, not settle, like I still got to get to the goal, but to be able to look at it and be like, oh, that's actually not impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And I have people around me. I have Ethan. I have my manager, Adam. I have people all the time that are like, yeah, you can go and do it. You just have to like decide you're gonna. Sometimes it takes me a minute, but then to like go and do it and be like, oh my god, I can do this is a nice little feeling. So we're feeling like a little bit more settled in work and a little bit more. The last year, I would say, I spent with my manager, like rebuilding my business and kind of like reworking it from the inside out, setting up the proper offers, curating content, doing the thing, that it feels like this year we can just kind of go.
Yeah.
Instead of like, how
the
are we
prep
going
work
to
is
go?
the hard part. Like, if you own a business, you know that if you have any creative side hustles, you know, like the prep's the hard thing. The space to just go is not to like get out on vacation. No, like it's just to point and shoot. Like I know that I've got this many programs to do. I know that I've got this many people to check in. I know that I've got this many things to step towards. And it's bang, bang, bang. Rather than like I do have to do this, but I also have to find these people. And if I don't do it here, I've got to triple down. Like I had to shoot a blog for 30 straight days. I was fucked up. I never want to do that again. I kind of want to do this. Kind of fun. I liked it. I learned a lot about myself. But that was the prep work. Like prepping me to do something new is the same shit. It's exhausting. Like it was a lot, but now I shoot videos every day.
Yeah, like it kind of felt like my business last year was a little bit like not stuck, but we were just kind of like
coasting
here, and we were doing work, but it wasn't really showing, if that makes sense. So to be able to like walk into consultation calls now and like have all the offers I need to make sure everybody has an option with coaching, and just to be able to like go and not have to be like, but I don't have this set up or that set up or another thing. Everything's there. I just have to sell it now.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the goal you reached? Since you left everybody on a cliffhanger without saying shit.
My manager has had a goal for me for probably the last like 4 months of hitting 50 clients. And I'm currently sitting at 53. So that's fun. And before you shit your pants being like, how does Jill have 53 clients? This is why we set up the proper offers, so that I can still provide a full service to all clients. Nobody's left hanging just because I want to take more clients, just so we're clear.
Yeah, babe. It's been fun to watch. It's been crazy. It happened fast. And you're knocking on many other goals. I have a few. It's been a little bit since I talked to you guys. I did my first nude modeling gig a couple weeks ago, which was wild. I did... You're funny. I got to dance with Cedar T again. For those of you who've been following along on my journey, I got to backup dance in a drag competition last year and support an artist and a queen, and took it all the way to the finals. It was a great experience, and we got to throw it back. And not only I got to meet another like professional drag queen that's been on, I think it was Canada's Next Top Drag Queen.
Yep. I don't watch the drag shows, but it was a big deal
for
lots of people.
And it was really cool to be in the same room and setting and vibe as that person. Just also to to be talked about as a supportive being in that space was really cool. Just in the experience, and to just be on stage with Cedar again, throwing it down, having fun. Just a couple of cool things, and then nude Molly and Jill's gonna show you some fucking.
Are you ready for the artwork?
Some pictures of that, and then the biggest joy I think of recent memory was yesterday, or no, Sunday. The Super Bowl was an absolute fucking time, and I'll expand on my joy later. Jesus, black joy everywhere.
If you're just listening to this, you're gonna have to go to YouTube or Spotify to see the artwork.
You're gonna have to get closer to the camera.
Okay, hold on. Coming. Hey, this is all right. Ethan did like a bunch of poses. I didn't take a behind the scenes of me showing them art. This is Ethan's partner, Riley. Can we see it? Oh god, it's too bright. There we go. Round of applause. Wow. Okay. Emily drew that. Oh, I think this is the one she wanted the people to see. Very clear that this is not a toilet. Speaking of cedar tea, and okay, this is mine. And I did the thing that I always do where I said I had no drawing skills. And then I walked out and I said, Ethan, I actually think I have a couple drawing skills. So adjust your expectations, but I exceeded mine. So we're going to take the win. Can we see? There you go. I think that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. I was actually
I was stunned.
Very impressed by my ability to draw his hair. I was like, how the fuck do I draw a trend? Figured it out. Yep. It was fun. There was like artists in that class. Like I was looking around.
Check my social media. If you don't follow me on Fight Me on this, you can follow Sir Lifts, and there's posts there. But yeah, there's some wild art all over the place.
So we were like, stop. We were like little fish in a big pond, but like. I still walked out being like, you know what, maybe I got a couple drawing skills. So that was fun.
Yeah, so it was just all in all good. And then a really cool experience for me to do something different with my body and what I do as a model. It took a ton of talking. It was the hardest thing I've done being up there that exposed. I didn't go fully nude. It was just not in the cards for me, but that's, remains to be seen. I don't know what's next for me that way, but it was a lot to be that naked in front of that many people staring at me intentionally.
Like detail work.
Like staring. Some of the drawings were like fucking wild. Just what a concept to be turned into art that way. Yeah, so that was fun. That was my joy ending, and just some good moments in the last couple of weeks through navigating some of the heavier and ugly. Do you have your phone? Because mine's busy.
Yep. We are going to talk about the Super Bowl today.
Yeah.
Specifically the halftime show. But before we do that, we did get a question come in from one of you guys that we wanted to answer before we get in to the full episode. If you don't follow Ethan on TikTok and Instagram, you should. But he posted a get ready with me Polly edition. It was him getting ready to go on a date, which like he filmed and edited all by himself. So I was very proud. But
that guy filmed talking all the time, gym stuff all the time. Doing lifestyle shoots is way different, but I'm getting it.
Yep. So there's a comment on it, and the question was, how do you meet people? Do you tell them off the bat you're poly, or are you looking specifically for poly lifestyled peeps? Lifestyled.
I love this question. It's a great question. It's one I get a lot, even at dating people. They ask me that question a lot. It was asked to me, but it was asked for us. Would you like me to go first, or are you just going to quickly answer it and we'll get on?
Yeah, I think our answers are similar, but different. Ethan and I, it's funny that this question would come up because I literally asked him a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, what do your apps say? Like, what do you got as your description?
And yes, we do that. We'll sit and date people together. Because it is it's part of the fun thing and part of this life, but it is checking what we're putting out into the world sometimes. Like, what are we doing as we're dating people?
And it's different between apps. Like, there's like there's apps that are more tailored to non-traditional lifestyles, and I feel like I have more details over there versus like Hinge or something like that. You got everybody.
And people are fucking judgmental, and that it doesn't change like who we are. But I'm not explaining my life to people that won't get it. Whereas on the sites like Joe's talking about, it's so much easier when I use vernacular that I would use in my home. And people are like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. Like we kind of practice this way, we do this, I'm here to this thing. Like it's so much easier to state it and lay it out. I don't get asked questions about what is that.
Yeah.
It's, oh, that's cool. How'd you get into that thing? What started this? How are you doing this over here? Like it's much more involved that way.
Yeah, because everyone's kind of the same vibe over there. And the reason we're not telling you the name of the app is because it's not for monogamous people. I mean, no.
No. Like, really?
I'm going to stand on that. That, like, you don't need the apps we're talking about. You don't need to be on if you're monogamous looking to date one person solo.
Yeah, go away.
There is finally apps that are more curated to being poly, to
in
being
safe spaces where people aren't being toxic as fuck.
Yeah, and like the questions you go through to get onto the app, you have to know something to make it work for you. So it's just not an app that monogamous people need to be on. You guys got lots of dating apps.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like it was a conversation of like, what are you actually putting out there and what are you actually telling people? For me, I shifted things a little bit. Like I used to have a blurb on my dating that was like, I'm poly, I have an anchor partner, blah, blah, blah. I've shifted that a little bit to be more generic, and that's not in a like I want to hide it way, but like Ethan said, people are judgy on the regular dating apps. Yeah. So I've switched it to like non-monogamous, figuring out my dating goals, whatever. So people will at least have a conversation first.
Mm-hmm. It sucks that you have to disarm people just to talk to them about being close to them, even though you're both there for the same thing.
I prefer to like kind of have that barrier down, and then before I go for coffee with somebody, I will clarify, like, just want you to know, like, Ethan's on my profile, but so is my best friend. So like, who's my partner? Who's to say? Mm-hmm. But I do like to clarify with people, like, especially if their profile says monogamy, I'll be like, hey, just wanted to clarify, like, I am poly, I do have an anchor partner, like, I just want to make sure I'm being upfront with that before we meet for coffee. If that's not your vibe, totally cool. If you're open to still connecting, also totally cool. And most people that I have those conversations with are like, yeah, no, let's still grab coffee. But if it was in my profile right off the bat, that conversation probably would have never happened.
Yeah, and I'm at a point for mine even where I'm kind of the other way. I just flat out say it. Because I don't have time to explain to you. If you are going to be judgy, I don't also need. Like when we first started and like connecting with people, it was just, I'm here to connect because I am. I also say that, but I have a partner. I am polyamorous. I'm looking to connect with people for no expectation reasons. I see someone, I'm curious why I like them. I've made more friends than I have anything else, but just neat humans. So yeah, I think that a big part of the shift is knowing where you're at. And, for Jill and I, we're both at similar but different places in our own right. And our profiles reflect that on these dating sites and places we don't. We still use the normal ones because there's options for us to be there, but it's far less successful in navigating useful conversations on monogamous based sites for any number of reasons.
Yeah, I think for me, like, it's hard enough to get a girl to talk in the first place.
That's another episode. We did it. Check our social media. We talk shit.
Yeah, like it's hard enough. Girl to girl dating conversation for another day. Nobody leads, so it's hard enough to like get somebody to say something on an app first of all, let alone giving them a reason not to say something. It's just like, let's give everybody a chance to have a conversation.
Yeah,
and then
people
you can
don't
make
read
your
anyways.
decision.
It's not even like I'm not tricking you. It's read my fucking profile. Like in mine is generic. It says I'm here to connect with people. There's pictures of Jill. There's pictures of Brian. There's pictures of me with other people. I'm doing life. I say I'm not looking for monogamy. Like it's if you just read the profile, it's really everywhere. If you just look rather than glance, it's literally we're not hiding shit.
I also am a girl, so I know that you're probably taking my name and plugging it into social media and making sure I'm real. So then like I'm extra not hiding it. In the first scroll of any of my social media, you'll find the podcast. You can put the pieces together yourself. So yeah,
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that we only look for poly people. It tends to, I think, be, I don't even want to say easier. When people are in the lifestyle,
In the what?
when people like are poly versus non-monogamous, I think conversations are a little bit easier to navigate because you both kind of have similar vibes. But we don't strictly look for poly people.
Yeah, like I'm not always looking to just date. Like I am just looking for connection. Like I don't have a need for more. It's a I enjoy connecting with people.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's one of my people.
I think that's a big piece for me right now too, is like you don't have to go for coffee with me and date me. Like I can use friends and
Yeah.
people that are poly and connections that I can talk about my life with where they're not going to be like, what the fuck. So it also doesn't have to be like, cool, you went for coffee, you're now dating me. So giving everybody a chance to like figure out the dynamic for themselves is important.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, like I said, mine is generic as saying that I'm here for connection. I had a great coffee this afternoon with another plant medicine human that I am so fucking excited to connect with. Just a neat story, neat person, and something I wouldn't have the opportunity to do if I wasn't just up for coffee and connecting. Doesn't have to turn into anything. Also cool. So being upfront is, yeah, I don't hide fucking anything about my life. I don't believe in giving people a fake dose of me. I don't know how else to say that other than when I go for coffee, like people get the whole thing. They might not get my whole story, but they get all of the energy that I have at any given point. They get all of my extraness. They get the jokes. They get the dark jokes. They get some of the trauma. Like, if you don't like me up there, what the fuck would I water myself down for you for? Why would I quiet my noise for you? I'm good. If you don't like me today, you're not going to like me tomorrow. So I don't got nothing to hide. I'm not that kind of person anymore. I'm done watering myself down for people, connections or otherwise.
Yeah, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah, thanks, Liz. That was a great question.
Let's talk about the Super Bowl.
I see dead people. It was so good. It was so good. Let's talk about it. Holy fuck.
Less about the football playing.
Although, like, fuck the Chiefs, that was wonderful. I had a great time calling that game.
And the feminist in me loves that their shitty little kicker didn't even touch the field. That's what you get.
Should have stayed home in the kitchen, motherfucker.
So you get for saying women deserve to be at home or belong at home, whatever the fuck he said.
It don't matter what he said now. He also doesn't belong on the field. Tough day for you.
Yeah, less about the football, although, like, for the Chiefs, it was kind of embarrassing, pretty embarrassing to watch.
Kelsey, it was embarrassing. If you're not going to defend your woman, that's exactly what happens.
And, like, I don't know their I don't follow Mahomes because he gives me the ick, but there's no way that was anywhere near how he usually plays football, so that was embarrassing on all fronts. It
was a good time.
It was great to watch them get their shit rocked because they don't be acting that confident to show up and play like that. But more importantly,
I was hoping for the shutout. I'm not gonna I fucking wanted that so bad.
More importantly, the halftime show.
And Kendrick put it on the world on Sunday.
Oh, and politics being brought into sports, and before somebody's like, politics already in sports. And also, like, have you ever known anybody that plays hockey? Because you're gonna tell me politics aren't in sports. Politics are in children's sports from day one. It's not how good you are at the sport, it's who you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, politics are in every sport, really, but like really the ones that make money for the countries, and that would be this one. And like if we're talking hiring initiative and everything else, like, do you want to have that conversation? You're not ready for that conversation. Kendrick tried to have it with you, and y'all missed it and got mad because it was about Drake's beef, but it wasn't. Drake's beef just made it easier to say to you and have it go over your heads.
I would also say Drake's beef got more people's initial attention, and then
that's what I said.
As you watched, you were like, "Oh, this is not just about two rappers not liking each other."
Well, one rapper not liking a pop artist. Let's be fucking honest about it. Fuck no. Nope. What do you know? Nope.
Yeah. Why don't you give the rundown or you want me to give the rundown on what the message was, why people are so fired up about the halftime show. Both the positive, us, being like, fuck yeah, go do the thing, and then also the people that are like, that shouldn't have been a thing.
You can't, we don't have time for that. There's too many things and too big, and I'm not here to actually educate people on it. But I will say that it spoke to a message of the current state of affairs and how they have been for ever in the States, in North America. We'll go in America as a whole, this continent as a unit. This man took center stage, made y'all look at this hand and miss what was in this one. It was crazy. It was, and you all did the thing. You did it. You did exactly what he wanted you to. You took the bait and talked all that shit like it was supposed to be about Drake, and then you made it about how there's no white people on stage, and then you made it about how rap sucks and Kendrick didn't say anything and that blah blah blah. And
he said lots.
He said everything, every single thing that has been said. He said again, louder and bright, and got friends to help him.
Also, Serena Williams got fined or got in trouble or whatever for crip walking at Wimbledon. Sorry, I'm not bougie enough to say that properly. So having like a few, like there was, it was so much more than just about Drake. But like, if you have the stage, might as well.
Sam Jackson showing up as Uncle Sam to talk shit about how it's supposed to be and how ghetto we must be doing it this way. And like,
ghetto. It's too the loud.
Like, you missed it. You missed Sam Jackson being Uncle Sam. You, oh my God, you missed the divisive flag with Kendrick in the middle. People up and down the stairs going up, some going back.
Some walking forward, some walking backwards.
You missed like the holy funeral procession in the corner. He was hanging with his homies all in white, talking about remove one life. Y'all met like you
missed all of his backup dancers on the stage in like what's the outline when somebody's dead?
Chalk outline?
Yeah. Like there was so much to miss. Like you had to be trying to miss everything in that halftime
on top of the masterful artistry of giving you a vision of America today and how it's been, he also went after that weak shit Drake aggressively. Not even just because he wrote the song already, that's how it happened. He delivered that shit in an entirely new way. He teased us the whole time and told the world what was happening. They don't want me to play that because they'll sue. This isn't about 40 acres and a mule. No, you can't be fake doing what I do. Go ahead and try it. And say, Drake, I heard you like him young.
He didn't.
Like, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
He didn't look at the camera the entire performance until he was
talking to Drake and everybody that supports him. Because if you support Drake, you support pedophilia. Mm-hmm. Sorry, it's like hebephilia. There's a new words for it. It's stupid. It's dumb. But what it is, you know what? We'll leave it at that. There's so many panties in a bunch right now in a weird way.
I am going to read. I will give you a brief glimpse if you're sitting there being like, but I still don't know what happened. The internet, best friend. Be on the right side of the internet, please, because like I'm on the right side of the internet and it's just been feeds of Kendrick and I'm like, I know I've curated the proper side of the internet.
108,000 people yelled A minor.
When you're looking to educate yourself, do not go to Facebook because it's just going to be all the angry white people. That's not the side of the internet we want to be on. I think one of my favorites was this one that said, Kendrick Lamar just upset every white person who relies on their surface level intelligence to navigate a country that serves them incredibly well. Which, like, that could be a whole line by itself. Because when society is catered to you, you don't actually have to be educated or intelligent or know how to navigate it because it's already set up perfectly for you. But they went on to say tonight Kendrick was a rapper that no one could understand. He was the worst Super Bowl performance ever. It was the worst performance ever because you lack the intelligence it takes to critically think about art and understand symbolism. A performance delivered by Black artists, and the irony of that is delicious.
Yeah, like that was artistry to perfection. No backing track. that means, okay, I'm going to explain. Listen, I'll end this here because I can't. I'm just going to get too hyped up. Let me explain. When you hear this on social media, no backing track, as a musician, that means a lot to you. But what that also means is that inside that building, when that happened, when he edited his own phrasing so he couldn't get cut off. Also, he didn't say pedophile. Everybody else did. And that's the point. That's why he chose no backtrack. Backtrack would have got him in trouble. There's nothing there to say that I said this thing. That was the stadium. That was the arena they were in. That whole place said every word of that song for him, and he fucking counted on it. He didn't say it, but he got 108,000 people, and let's say that 8,000 of them didn't because it was so fucking loud in there. Shook the foundation of that place.
He didn't say any. I'm sure he got a list of, you're the
You can't say
halftime
this.
performance, here's all of the things you can't say. And he did it. Like, he played, and I think as a white person, this is one of my favorite parts, is he played by our rules perfectly and still pissed off white people.
And then went after and took the part that he didn't get to use over here and say, and said it at Drake.
Yeah. But, like, you gave the man a set of rules, he followed it, and you're still mad at him. But you can't actually do anything about it because he followed the rules that you gave him. So if you watch the performance back, you can see him skip words. It might not have sounded like it because, like Ethan said, everybody else said the words for him. He didn't use the N-word. He didn't say pedophile. He skipped words intentionally so that the organization
couldn't do shit about
can't
it.
Get mad. What's Drake gonna do? Sue? Go for it. Like,
try, but like everybody has receipts.
Yeah. I did see a couple funnies that it was like, what's Drake gonna do? Sue the whole country? Because, like, again, Kendrick didn't say it, but that entire stadium and everyone at home did. So
everywhere.
I don't think it works.
If you would have had your windows open, it might have been a collective A minor.
Yeah. And then there's another one. I saw this girl and, like, be white, but, like, no, you're doing it. And this girl, like, played it perfectly where she was on TikTok and she's like, A minor, A minor, A minor, A minor. I'm always the last one to know. And I died because I'm like, I love that, like, it took somebody that long to be like, oh my God, that's not a music note. He was saying it was A minor. And it was just like her delivery of, I'm always the last one to know, killed me. Because I'm like, now she's sitting here watching it on the Super Bowl being like, I'm missing something. Different
perspective.
Just being like, hold on, I'm missing something. And then slowing it down and being like, I got it. I figured it out. He's got a chain. He was wearing a little A see it? Around his neck.
Y'all, like, you got it. The whole thing was, oh my God, just perfection in artistry, in message delivery. That was a masterpiece. I don't, like, everyone is going to wait a year and have some dumb fucking act come next year and ruin it and be like, that was so much better. But it's just because it sunk to your level where you understood that it was music that you don't even really like, but it was better because the message wasn't about being black. Well,
it's also a common theme if we notice. White people didn't like Rihanna. Mm-hmm. White people didn't like Beyonce. White people didn't like Kendrick. Unless they look and sound like them.
The only white people that like Drake are the people that like safe black. That's the argument. He's a pop artist. He's not a rapper. He's a fucking pop artist.
It's why Straight Outta Compton is uncomfortable for people to watch because you don't actually want to know what it's like.
Yeah. Anyway, this was fun.
I will end it with also one of my favorite threads. I don't know. I'll show you guys this picture. If you watch the halftime show, you would have seen it. You know what it is from here.
You know, you can get closer. No, you don't get to tell people I'm going to show you this and then not show them the fucking thing.
This one. Do you see? Where that he made the American flag of black people in do-rags. Okay, just checking that we understood everything going on in that picture. And that was something I clocked right away because obviously I live with 2 black males. So, like, I'm very familiar with how we take care of our hair. But as soon as they came out of that car and some of the men had do-rags on, I'm like, there's no fucking way. Which is, like, one of my favorite parts because you're not supposed to dress like that. Like, Ethan can speak on this, but I know it living and being around not white people. It's like, you're not supposed to be out in public with your do-rag on. That makes you ghetto. So as soon as they came out of the car, I was like, yeah, he did.
How's that DEI kickback working for you fucks?
Just letting them dress how, like... Again, I live with 2 males, like letting them dress how they feel comfortable, how they
Be
take
blackity
care
black
of
black.
themselves. Like, it's a hair care thing. It's a culture thing. And you're mad that they wear it out in public. Anywho, loved that they were just like had grills, had do-rags, like showed up how black people dress. But the caption that goes with that thread, it says, "You know what I see in this image? A reminder that there would be no United States of America if our ancestors didn't build it for free.
Mm-hmm.
Black history is American history, and no matter how hard y'all try, you can't write us out of the story." And I think, like, even football is not a white people thing. So you can't love the sports, love the culture, love the music without loving the people. You don't get all the perks of the work they put in and not support the people that did it.
Yeah, you guys wouldn't have a fucking sport league, any of them,
And
that's not even like Tiger Woods took golf from you guys, and I mean that with some contempt and some giggles, because it would just to try to get on a golf course was almost impossible. But like, it's still stupid to get into these white places.
even though
it's not over, but here we be. Y'all be afraid that we're going to take it from you. Well, you shouldn't have brought us here in the first place, but since you did, hi.
And it also wasn't ours in the first place.
Also, hi. With love. This was fun. I like this one.
I just think like Kendrick took it and threw it in white people's faces and made everyone uncomfortable, and that's why we don't like it.
Y'all said you can't, and he's like, man, fuck you.
Yeah.
Watch me.
Yeah. And it's something to learn. Like, if the halftime show made you uncomfortable, it means you got shit to work on. It means you got things to learn. It means you got to step out of your little bubble of your world and realize that's not necessarily the reality just because it's what we've been fed.
And something Kendrick also did in that moment to this line is showed people that were missing it that they were.
You could watch that performance 100 times and pick up something new every time. I saw a TikTok and somebody had like set up their phone and it was their whole like crew watching the halftime show, and you could pick out the faces of people that knew what was coming. Like, this house walked into the halftime show knowing it wasn't just a halftime show, knowing it wasn't just beef with Drake. Like, we knew he was going to use the stage
as an
for
artist,
exactly what he needed to use it for. But you could see the faces of people in that group of like the people that like knew what was coming, and then in the background you saw the white people being like, hold on, this isn't just a halftime show. So like, it's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to better educate yourself. It's a better opportunity, or it's an opportunity to understand that like rap music isn't just swearing and loud. It always,
and like, even if it is swearing,
it always has a message. It's not just loud music that you can't understand. There's always a message.
My other joy on the exit is that Brian got me a Christmas gift that just got here 2 weeks ago. It's a portable dab rig. And I'm fucking tickled by this thing. It is wonderful, wonderful. Anyways, we love you guys, as always. Thank you, Liz, for your question. Thank you for sitting with us. Thanks for enjoying. If you have questions, updates, how did the Super Bowl performance make you feel? On either side, if you're offended, I don't care, but you're allowed to say it.
I'm going to leave a poll in the... I don't know if I think it only shows up on Spotify. So if you listen on Spotify, there'll be a poll being like, how'd we feel about the Super Time?
You're such a girl.
I combined. I was like, we're not saying both of those words.
That was good.
Just a Super Time show. That's favorite. What we're going with.
Yeah, and we'll put a poll down and get we love your opinions, because it's one of those cultural phenomenons. This will be talked about for the rest of life. This is going down in history as one of the greatest shows ever. It's never going to not be talked about. You might as well talk about it.
I saw some threads. I was like, imagine being a history teacher right now and just being like, actually, I'm changing the curriculum. Or like somebody else posted was like, there's college students changing their thesis to talk about that halftime show. Like, there's so much to talk about and learn. And yeah, just an opportunity to educate, if nothing else. Yeah. If you want to see the artwork and you're listening currently, it's on Spotify. Spotify has a video right attached to it. Lots of people don't know that. If you switch over to listening on Spotify, the video plays. The video's just right there. So you can listen or watch. If you're stuck listening the other ways, you can find us on YouTube at Shifting the Lens Podcast, and you can check out the artwork there. Other than that, you can find me at CoachJill.April.
You can find me at Fight Me On This and Sir Lift.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
Love you guys. Have a dab with me. Cheers.
Bye.